Department of Psychology here at ODU, and I spend a lot of my time just studying how people make decisions. And before I begin, I'd like to give a special thanks to the members of my team. It's Dr. Sylvie Tomovich, Mara Hammett, and Leona Tam. And these were my partners in crime who helped me design the survey instrument that I'm going to talk about. And we conceptualized the problem. We analyzed some of the data together. And this was the team that was internally funded by ODU about a year and a half ago to study this specific problem. So we started off trying to really address this question of what's going on with the people of Norfolk. Obviously, the physical evidence is right there. We are flooding, sea levels are rising, and there are all kinds of problems with commuting, people getting where they want to get, etc., people losing property. Why is it that there's so much dissension in terms of what's causing it, what needs to be done about it, and is it a communication problem, and specifically, if there are problems in people's understanding, is it some function of where they physically are? Or does it matter if you're in flood zone number 1 as opposed to something else, or is it a problem with a particular demographic? So these are questions that we sought to answer when we designed our survey instrument. So as we all know, of course, climate change, and more specifically anthropogenic climate change, is the cause of global sea level rise. And it's also common knowledge to most of us that most people, especially Americans, don't seem to feel any kind of personal connection with the problem. A lot of people understand it on a purely intellectual level, but they don't believe it's going to happen to them. And in fact, since 2009, there's actually been a decline in people's beliefs that this is a real problem. And this is because there are some theories about, well, it's because of the economic recession, people have bigger problems right now. They don't want to think about climate change, it's too much of a luxury. Which could be one of the issues, but it's not the only issue. There are other factors at play here. So why are these scientific communications on climate change and sea level rise failing to get the kind of attention that they should? What can be done to create a sense of urgency? And the key word here being urgency, because the problem is a lot of people recognize this is something that's going to happen over the next 50 years, 100 years, but that's not good enough, because there are places like this that are having a problem right now. And so what can we do as social scientists to encourage some kind of development of support for public support for policy changes? Does it have anything to do with voting behavior? Does it have to do with what people expect the government to do? Can people tell us in concrete terms what they want from the decision makers? So we can go out there and put these issues. So the communication is really both ways. It's one is what do we tell the public, and two, what does the public want to tell us that we can take to lawmakers or policymakers? So when I think of sustainability, I think of it as the three vertices of a triangle. So you have environmental sustainability, which is really protection of natural resources and natural habitats. And there's social sustainability, which is protection of communities like ours that are being physically impacted. And then there's economic sustainability, which is, well, as we know in this particular area, there are businesses that are experiencing huge financial losses because of water, and they've had to shut down. There's water in dry docks, and there's the NASA facility is being threatened in a few years. So they may have to shut down, they may have to do a lot of things. So what happened, where I come into the picture is primarily social and economic. What I'm going to present right now today is our data on the Social Sustainability Project, which is what does the community of Norfolk seem to believe, what do they think? Do they identify enough with the place to want to make a change? And I'm going to briefly introduce the Economic Sustainability Project, which we haven't started collecting data on yet, but it's still in the planning stages. We do have some funding to do that.